Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over what I think about as I'm considering accepting a delivery or denying the delivery. And we're going to get pretty informational on this one. I actually screen recorded 5 of my deliveries from last night. I'm going to tell you why I accepted them or why I declined them, what goes through my mind, the whole like everything that I consider before doing it, whether it's like, am I delivering to an apartment or all this stuff. And I'm going to use the acronym DASH. So DASH is going to stand for distance per dollar, area, meaning where is it delivering to? Is it delivering to an apartment complex? Is it delivering to the Las Vegas Strip? Schedule, meaning like my schedule, like do I need to go somewhere at a certain time? Is this taking me the exact opposite direction? Like there's so many things about schedule, like is my dash about to end? Do I want to finish my dash way on the other side of town? And then H is going to stand for happy experiences or horrible experiences at this place. So I couldn't think of a good one for H. Maybe you guys can help me out. But H, I really wanted the acronym to be DASH, obviously for obvious reasons, because it is a dashing video. So for H, it's going to be like, have I had horrible experiences at this restaurant or were they happy experiences? Anyways, all right, so let's get into this video. So I'm going to go over 5 of the deliveries that I accepted or declined last night. And last night I had a pretty good dash. I made about $50 in the first hour, and then give or take a few dollars, and then the last 2 hours was absolutely horrible. But yeah, so let's go over the delivery. So I'm going to pull them up and put them on the screen right here. All right, question of the day to the audience before we get started is, what is your distance per dollar that you're going to accept? Whether it's like, for me, I personally try to accept at least $1 per mile. At worst case scenario, I will not go under $1 per mile. So if the delivery is 7 miles and the order pays $6, I will not take it. I'll do $7 for 7 miles if it's like conveniently on the way, but I always aim to do at least $2 a mile. So if it's an order that pays $8, I want to do 4 miles or less. That's the things that I'm considering mostly, and that's the first thing that I always think about. So let me know in the comments down below what's the distance per dollar that you guys consider. Also, before we get started, please consider smashing the like button because it greatly helps out my channel. It helps me continue to do videos like this in the future. Also, if you guys haven't yet, subscribe, of course. All right, so now let's get into the video. I'm going to watch these screen records that I did yesterday. All right, so just to preface this first clip, and like one thing that I'm considering is like where I live in this. So obviously, like in this first clip, this is taking me super far away from where I would actually, like where I live. I live just barely west of the 15 freeway. Not like I'm not really too worried about people stalking me or anything, but I live just west of the 15 freeway, the very southwest of this screen, basically. So first thing that pops up is the Brio Tuscan Grill. So as this order comes up, I'm looking at it, and first thing I'm going to do is think distance per dollar. Like how far is this order? How it's $13 for 13 miles, basically. It's pretty much $1 per mile. But since this literally takes me super far away from where I live, I'm not going to take it. So I declined this order. And it was mainly just because of how far it was, and I don't want to take an order that takes me way away from all the buildings, or not where all the shops are, and then it's going to take me way to the other side of Las Vegas. And that's not something I want to do, because then I got to drive all the way back to where the orders are. So in this second order, you can kind of tell where my pinpoint is. That is where the outlet mall is, where I'm always parked and stuff and waiting for orders. So just so you know, that's where it is on the map. So let's start the second video. And obviously, just looking at this order, it's $4 for 4.4 miles. Not something I'm going to take. I'm going to look and I'm going to zoom in on the screen to see where it is also. But just knowing how short this order is, I'm not going to take this order regardless. But just to consider it, I'm going to look and see where this is. Is it delivering to an apartment complex, or is it delivering to a house? Because if you're delivering to a house, it's going to be much easier to just walk up to a door rather than if you have to walk around and look for the apartment complex, or if it's a hotel, you got to go in, you got to pass security. There's all these other things that you need to consider. So we're zooming in, and we can tell that it's a house, but it's a $4 order. So I'm not going to take this regardless, because my standard is always going to be at least $7. We're going to move on to the next video. And I believe, yep, so this Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings was the first order that I took this night. So you can tell that I'm parked at the outlet mall right here. Buffalo Wild Wings is in the outlet mall. And I'm going to play this video. So I'm going to look and I'm going to consider, because one thing that is I have to consider right here is I'm dashing in the southeast area of Vegas, meaning this is taking me out of my dashing area. So if I want to get another order, I'm going to have to drive back. But fortunately, it's only like 2 miles out of the dashing area, maybe even less, maybe like a mile. So I'm probably going to accept this one. So I ended up accepting it because I can see that it's going to a house. It's more than $2 per mile. It kind of hits all the things that it hits the distance per dollar. It's the area. The area's meh. It's not that bad though. My schedule is fine. Like I don't have to like drive super far to get back in, and I'm dashing for the next like 2 hours at this point. So I'm doing like a full 3-hour dash. That was my mindset, at least going into this. And every time I've ever been to Buffalo Wild Wings, it's always been a happy experience. They're pretty much always pretty consistent. You know, I've never really had a horrible experience there. So it hits pretty much all 4 of the dash. DASH. Anyways, okay, on to the next order. The next thing that I'm going to consider, also, just a preface, I have a cat walking around above me right now. Look at this parkour cat. Kitty cat, what are you doing up there? Alright, so the next thing is also, one thing that's very important about like big restaurants like this is so Buffalo Wild Wings, people generally think that they're going to tip a lot of money, or at least give a decent tip, because it's more of a sit-down restaurant rather than like a fast food place, because people don't generally tip on the fast food places as much as they tip on actual restaurants. So, okay, so we accept this order from Buffalo Wild Wings. It looks good. Pretty much everything is good. Okay, so also in this time period, as I'm pulling up to Buffalo Wild Wings, I get another order, and this is why I park at the outlet mall, because there's so many places in this little vicinity where I can accept orders, and it's pretty much just the best spot, because there's literally restaurants all over the place. So for this reason, I almost always take orders that are from bigger restaurants here, because this always happens. So the next thing that happens is I get a double order. So I'm going to play this video right here. Double order, Outback Steakhouse. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to make sure it's not going to a hotel or something, because at this point, for another $8 for 0.7 miles, there's not really a reason that I'm going to decline this order. Other than like if it was going to a casino or something, I would definitely decline it at that point. But it is a very good order, and obviously who's not going to take an extra $8 for less than a mile? So that order ended up going super smooth, and I did get tipped really well on the Outback Steakhouse order. Outback Steakhouse is a place that I almost always accept, because Outback Steakhouse is a generally kind of more expensive restaurant, so people are almost always tipping really well here. So I did both of these orders back to back. Well, they're the same order basically. The next thing that comes up, I'm dropping off. Oh, so here's a screenshot. I did make $26 on this order. So someone tipped me an extra $10. That's a lot of money. So it was 8 and 8 for the 2 orders, and then I got an extra $10 as a tip from the Outback Steakhouse order. So I made $26 on that order. Next thing is, so this one is I'm driving back to the outlet mall at this point. I just dropped off the orders and I am driving back. Okay, so something that pops up is P.F. Chang's and Brio Tuscan Grill. I'm going to play this video now. Okay, so I look at it and I'm like, 11 miles for $17. That's good. And one of the first things that I'm going to consider is this order is 2 expensive restaurants, both at the mall. Okay, so great places. Both of them, if you zoom in on them, one of them is to a hotel. But I've been to this hotel a bunch of times. It's actually pretty convenient. It's easy. You drive up, you walk in. You don't have to walk super far to get to the rooms or anything. So I know it's a pretty good hotel. It's right next to the outlet mall. So I accept it. And I know that the second order is actually going to a house. So obviously that's super convenient. And we're at $17 for 11 miles. It's more than $1 per mile. It's not $2 per mile. But I know that I'm taking 2 expensive restaurants. So you have to consider that you're generally going to get tipped on most of these expensive restaurants after you deliver them. So that's one thing that is huge. And I did end up getting an extra I don't think they were like great tips, but they were like an extra $3 or something. So move on to the next order. So the next order, at this point, I made $50 in the last hour. So after like considering all the tips and everything that I made, it was I think around like $48, and I'd only been dashing for about 40 minutes at this point. So at this point, I've already made good money, and I'm starting to consider like I kind of want to go home because I already made good money. Earlier in the day I made $30, so I really only needed to make like $40 to hit my daily minimum, which was $70. So I'm already thinking, okay, I want to take an order that goes west. That way I end up back towards my house, and I don't want to take anything that goes east. Otherwise, I'm going to be screwed, and then I'm going to have to drive all the way back. So this one, it's not exactly perfectly back towards my house. Like at this point, if we're looking at this screenshot, it is my house is essentially straight west of here, but it goes up a little bit and then back down. So actually pretty good order. So I'm going to take this order. It ended up being kind of annoying because they were super late on this order. Like I just said, Buffalo Wild Wings, I always have good experiences. This one was just like 20 minutes late, so that kind of sucked. But anyways, so delivered this order, $9 for, I believe it was 6 miles. Pretty good order. It's mostly the 6 miles. You have to consider that I'm pretty far east, so I'm already going to drive west no matter what. So you have to take off 3 of those dollars anyways, because I'm going to drive that regardless to get back to my house. So ended up taking that order and delivering it. I believe they gave me an extra $5 or $6 on this one too. Move on to, so that was the last order that I recorded. So that was 5 videos, I believe. And so I just wanted to kind of go over the things that I consider as I'm taking these orders, and why I accept the orders and why I would deny certain orders. So again, like distance per dollar is huge. The area that you're going to, like, are you delivering to the Strip, or like, okay, the Strip, Las Vegas Strip, or like, for example, if you're in downtown LA, I would probably try to avoid like the downtown area because you don't want to be delivering to like big like apartment complexes and stuff. And then schedule, like, is my dash almost over? Like, do I want to go home soon? Like, should I accept orders that go back towards my house? And then like, have you had horrible experiences or happy experiences at this place? Because like a lot of places, pretty much no matter what, if they pop up, I'm going to decline them because I've just had horrible experiences. So those are some things that I always consider. Anyways, so I hope this video helped you guys out a little bit. I tried to get more informational on it than I typically do in my videos. And obviously, I'm actually in my recording studio. So let me know if you guys like these videos in the studio more versus videos that are in the car. Personally, I like both of them. The car is just a little bit simpler. It takes less. I don't have to set up all the lights and stuff. But if you guys haven't yet, please check out my footwear company. It is called Off Axis Acrobatics. We are a acrobatic footwear company, but we make shoes for like MMA, and like these are basically just good overall shoes for like outdoor hiking and like pretty much anything active. They're basically like a very thin sole, so you can feel the ground that you're walking on and perform really well in them. Use my discount code OffAxisTanner. You'll save 30% off any time of the day, any day. Pretty much that code's going to work if you're watching this video in a few years. All right, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you guys have not, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.